So of course, when you're in any country, you want to learn a little bit of the language. And our tour guides have all been really great about teaching us a few choice words that we need to know. So the first thing that you learn typically is how to say hello. And in Khmer, like in most languages, there are a couple of different ways to say it. You can be very formal, like saying hello, and say Chung Reap Suo, and that's very, very formal. Or you can say something more informal, which would be kind of like hi in English, and that would be Suoste. Suoste. Kind of sounds like Thursday, is what our tour guide said, and that's a good way to remember it. Suoste. Suoste. Now, another thing that's really important in Khmer is the way that you hold your hands, and it shows respect. So if you're talking to a peer or a friend or someone who's younger than you, you hold your hands down like this, suoste. But if you're talking to someone who's older than you or your teacher, you'd hold your hands at chin height here, suoste. And if you're talking to your parents or someone who's an elder or an authority figure, it's up to your nose. Suoste. 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 And then if you're talking to a monk, it's up here at your forehead. Suoste. Suoste. And if you're at the temple addressing Buddha or God, it's up here. Suoste. And so it's very important because it's a sign of respect. And so you, in greeting, you have your, you put your hands like this, suoste. Now, to say goodbye, I only know the formal way to say goodbye. That's Chom Reap Lia. Chom Reap Lia. And then, of course, we also, and you can also do this at goodbye, but it's less important. It's very important to greet people with your hands like this. And of course, we also learned one of the most important words that you can learn in any language, and that's how to say thank you. And you say thank you by saying alkum. Alkum. And our tour guide told us a great way to remember it, and I'll probably never forget it because of it. He said it's a lot like Hakuna Matata, from The Lion King. So, alkun, hakuna, alkun. It's kind of like that. So that's one way to just it's a mnemonic device to remember that. And we have said alkun a lot here, a lot. Another thing that our tour guides gave us, and this is my favorite souvenir because, A, it's very authentic. I've seen a lot of people, Khmer people, wearing this, and I'm a sucker for authentic things. I love when something's authentic and not just some touristy thing that you could get anywhere. But also because it was free. Our tour guide bought a whole lot of them, and they were great. They bought a whole bunch of these things called chroma. And there's a lot of different ways that you can wear chroma here in Cambodia, and you see Khmer people everywhere wearing them. Our tour guides wore them. You can wear them like this. You can kind of do something fancy around your neck like this. One way that a lot of us have been wearing them is as headbands. And you can be very fancy with the headbands and tie them up at the top here. Let me see. You can just wear them around your neck like this. This has been another really useful thing. Just put them over your head as a sunshade or kind of around your neck to cover the back of your neck while we're visiting all these really hot places and very sunny places. You can wear it as a belt. One of our guides even folded it in such a way around his waist that it was kind of like a fanny pack. It was really cool. We've seen people wearing them like this around their wrists, and Of course, a lot of the way the presidential scholars, which are the people in my group, have been using them is like this because we are sweating buckets. I can't even describe the heat to you. It's so incredibly hot. Um, First off, temperature wise, it's way up there, but then it's very humid, and so we are sweating from places we didn't know we could sweat, like our elbows. We get sweat at our elbows. The other day we were out at Angkor Wat, and my arms felt really weird, and I was thinking, am I getting a sunburn? What is this? And then I looked down, and they're just completely covered in sweat. My forearms were just, I mean, they were like little bubbles of sweat. And I was thinking, I'm feeling my pores produce sweat. This is a new experience for me. And at dinner, we were all sharing similar stories. We've all been experiencing the heat. It's very interesting, but we're probably going to come home about 5 pounds lighter from all of the sweat that we've been doing. So drinking plenty of water has been a huge thing. And again, our tour guides have been fantastic about making sure that we have bottled water constantly. And they're like, you need to be drinking water. Don't forget to drink water. Take water with you. And then they keep bringing it up because if you now it's a lot easier to think about drinking water in this heat, but you really have to stay on top of it because one of the number one signs that you're getting dehydrated is when you don't feel thirsty. So if you're not thirsty, you're a little bit dehydrated. And then it just goes downhill from there, and no one has fun while they're dehydrated on a trip. Believe me, I know this from experience. But it's been a really great trip. Heat aside, it's been well worth it, and it's an interesting experience to be able to experience the heat here. And so I wanted to have a shout out to our fantastic tour guides. There's this company called Education First College Study Tours, or EF College Study Tours. Check it out. I will have a link in the box. They are amazing. I mean, really amazing. They have set up all of our flights. They have put us up in the nicest hotel. Mind-blowing. The hotel we're in right now in Siem Reap is easily the nicest hotel I've ever stayed in my life. I mean, all of the hotels we've stayed in have had spas and restaurants, and they turned down the bed and put mints on the pillow. You know you've arrived. It's very, very nice. And the tour guides are from the area, very knowledgeable. And one other little thing that they've done is, so I'm just giving this shout out because they've been so awesome. But one other thing they've done is we were supposed to go to Thailand after 2 days in Siem Reap. We were supposed to just see Angkor Wat and then fly over to Bangkok to go, just do the touristy thing in Thailand. And then we got into Siem Reap and we heard the news about what's going on in Thailand with the militia rule, and then it turned into a coup. So our tour company called us up and they said, you're not going to Thailand. It's not safe for you to go. We have people on the ground there. Of course, our next tour guide. And it's just not a good time to go. And so they rearranged it. So we were staying in Siem Reap another 2 or 3 days, and that actually affected me the most because I was supposed to fly from Bangkok to Taipei at the end after all of my presidential scholars had left. And so they rearranged the flight for me. They got a refund on my previous flight, and they have redirected my flight schedule and changed it up so that I'm flying from Siem Reap to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, and then from Ho Chi Minh City to Taipei. And so they've just been incredibly accommodating and wonderful. So if you ever do want to do some kind of tour, look into that because they do it well. But aside from that, I just really wanted to express my gratitude and let people know how awesome they are. And this trip has been fantastic so far. I'm really sad that it's coming to a close, at least, at least the Cambodia portion and the part with my fellow college friends. But it has been a wonderful journey, and so all I can say to everyone who made this trip possible, and to our tour guides, and to the college, is a very heartfelt Alkum